my people. It's a sad one this morning, but before we dive into the story, please subscribe, thumbs up, and comment, and share this video. I want to ask one question. Naija, say na like this we go the day. Say na like this we go the day. The security challenge of this country is getting out of hand. It's already out of hand, but it's like it's going through the roof now. Woke up this morning to the news that about 30 innocent people have been killed. 30 innocent people have been killed. That is out of the roof. That is out of the roof. And our government are coming out to say they condemn the killing. For how long will they continue to condemn these killings? For how long? I'm pained to the bone. I imagine the pain and the grief that these families are going through right now. It is getting too much. It's getting out of hand. If our communities in the northern part and even the southern part and the western part are no longer safe, then how will this economy grow? Because this community, for your understanding, these communities, they are the ones that produce our agricultural products that we see today in the cities or the urban area that we enjoy, or we feel okay. Probably you can go to the market and see tomatoes and see pepper and see groundnut, anything. These things comes from the communities, the villages. And when villages are being deserted, villagers are running away from their villages due to insecurity, then how do we go back to farm? How do we farm? How do we produce for this economy to grow? It is getting to a point that it is no longer going to be easy for the common Nigeria. You can already see the economic situation of the country. It's nosediving down. To feed, for business to succeed, is getting out of hand. And yet, our politicians and the government are sitting there and telling us they condemn. They've been condemning these stories for quite a long time, and nothing has been done. When we cry out, they will go visit and they will come back, and nothing will happen again. It will happen the next day again. For how long are we going to live like this? For how long is Nigeria as a country, as the big brother of all African nations, going to stand up on its own and say, okay, they want to fight insecurity? I don't blame the government. I blame us, the citizen, because we are not doing enough to ginger, to make sure these politicians and this government are not sitting comfortably in their seats. It's getting out of hand. And how do we escape this? That is the question I keep asking. We found ourselves in this kind of situation already. How do we escape this? Where do we go from here? How do we put our hopes on this government and make sure that something like this does not occur again? Because it keeps occurring. It keeps happening. It keeps happening. It keeps happening. I'm pained. I am pained. Nigerians, this is the time for us to stand up and know that our government are not going to solve this situation. And that is why the villagers, our communities have been deserted. They are leaving. Go to the north. You see refugees camp as if, what is happening? And all this government are concerned about is 2027 election. That is the most annoying part of everything. 2027 election. They give cars to women APC leaders. They give houses to the judiciary. And the common man that is in the communities that are the backbones of this economy are left unprotected, unkept. Soldiers, militaries are there in those communities, few kilometers away from them. And when they are called upon, it's like they don't have ammunition, or they don't have fuel, or they don't have more cars to go and confront these terrorists. When we banditry, terrorism, kidnapping stop in Nigeria, it has become Every day you sleep and you wake up, it's a different news again. Banditry, kidnapping is getting too much. It is getting too much. And the military, the federal government, the politicians, they have no answers to it. And this is killing us. Listen to Arise. I believe they have a detailed explanation on how this occur. Please.
Well, just touched on it very quickly. The sad occurrence in Narindon, in Kauru local government area in Southern Kaduna, that happened on Monday overnight. Now, the president has released a statement through his spokesperson, Mr. Bayo Onanuga, condemning the killings and talking tough around the response of his administration to violence in Southern Kaduna, saying that recent attacks would not erode the progress that has been made in that region. We know that this is not the first time. Southern Kaduna, especially Kauru local government, is quite notorious for these kinds of unprovoked attacks. I say that unprovoked because some, might be saying, oh, is it this or that? Unprovoked. According to eyewitness report, some assailants came in around 12:40 a.m. In the morning of Monday, and they attacked this community, killing women, children, and for pictures and footage from the assault, from what has been termed one of the deadliest attacks in recent times in that area, is not fit for our TV screen. It is quite a terrible situation. Let me paint a picture, because when we hear of 1 to 30 people dying in a community, we as a people must not become sensitized to this. If we complain about South Africans killing Nigerians on their home soil, then we should be even more concerned about Nigerians dying in their own home. 30 people, children. In fact, there's a situation of a family losing 5 of their children in that attack. 5 siblings from the same family. We have Deborah, Friday, Yusuf, Yunana, Irimaya, and Emmanuel from the Emmanuel family losing their lives. Their parents were able to flee that situation. What is curious about this case, based on the reports that have come out of that of Kauru, is that number one, the operation lasted with assailants coming in with sophisticated weapons in the middle of the night. Number two, the operation lasted for about 3 hours. Number three, when a distress call was put out to security operatives, they came after the assailant had left. So they had 3 hours of a reign of terror without any response, immediate response from security operatives. I believe that the Southern Kaduna People's Union have written an open letter to the Commissioner of Police in Kaduna State asking for intervention, especially deploying more personnel to these areas that historically has been termed as being volatile and have experienced a number of these kinds of attacks. And so it beggars belief why we did not have security presence in that area that is known to be vulnerable to these attacks. That's number one. Number two is that when, they keep saying, oh, and even in the president's speech, if you see something, say something. When you do say something, why is it that action is not taken enough to build confidence in the people? In fact, it was said that when there was no response from security operatives, the people had to flee for their own lives. And this is what we have: communities that have been deserted, that have been left vacant because people have found that they cannot be helped. They have made calls for a solution, and yet again and again the government has failed them. And this is what I want to raise this morning, that why is it difficult to secure these people? And let me just give a bit of context to this. We know that in Kaduna, there's a southern part and the northern part. Historically, there have been clashes, and we've had the farmer-herder clashes, we've had the clashes and attacks on Christians in the southern part of Kaduna. I bring this up because we are still in a position where we're still arguing about whether or not we protect the most vulnerable in societies. This one, I give it up to the Kaduna State Governor, Governor Uba Sani, who has made efforts, which was not the case in the previous administration, to bring the people together, to ensure that everybody in Kaduna, irrespective of ethnicity, irrespective of religious background, feels included and feels protected. His latest move in moving away from a Muslim tickets demonstrates that as well, because that is fairness, equity, but not sacrificing competence. So you can have competent people who are able to still represent people and ensure that there's a sense of representation for everybody in Kaduna State. Kaduna does not belong to a particular ethnic group or a particular religious sect, and this must be emphasized. Having said that, Rufai, when we were reading the news, you said Monarch-in-Chief. And I said, I thought he was the commander-in-chief. Is that we shouldn't get to a point whereby what we are hearing from the commander-in-chief is, I mourn with you, I condemn. Beyond condemnation, yes, they enumerated the many areas in which there have been security interventions, but obviously it's clearly not enough. Obviously it's not addressing the challenges. Obviously we're seeing new cases. So it means that whatever has been deployed is not anywhere near enough. And so there must be, almost sound like a broken record, more boots on ground. Yes, they've increased the division, so we'd have more oversight, quicker responses. This hasn't come into operation yet. We're seeing the first phase in September. Perhaps when this comes into operation, we'll see better and quicker responses from our military and, well, the police as well, who are actually responsible for internal security. Number two is that we must have a situation where there's a resolution that is not kinetic, but we can also have community interventions. There is tension between communities in Kaduna State that has to be addressed. And so we cannot continue to come up and, talk about news and make condemnations and mourn with the people and even release statements through political spokesperson. The president himself needs to speak to his people occasionally, especially giving an update on security efforts by his administration. He's the one that has the mandate of the people, not his presidential spokesperson, with all due respect. They can release statements, but it's important that once in a while. The last time we heard from the president was through the nation's address on Democracy Day. When last did he have an interview? When last did he give a security update to the people who are suffering, who are crying, who are mourning on a consistent level? I dedicate this morning just to speak about the security situation, because if we don't address this, we cannot have politics, we cannot have elections, we cannot talk about other matters if we do not have the